Jets coach Robert Saleh announced today that Mike White will start at quarterback against the Buffalo Bills, and this counts as rather large news for both the short and the long term. Zach Wilson was the 2021 number 2 overall draft pick. He's made about 5 throws all year you could feel good about. Seriously. Mike White? I never heard of Mike White until Zach Wilson got hurt, and that's only an exaggeration by a little bit. White dazzled, dominated, in a way that Wilson right now can only dream about in a win over Cincinnati. White looked good early on the road in Indy last Thursday before he got hurt. White's healthy. White starts. Mike White clearly gives the Jets the best chance to win a football game. It's not even up for debate, and that's rather telling. And while Robert Saleh said today he didn't want to rush Zach Wilson back, it goes noted Zach Wilson returned to practice. And Saleh, big picture, simply refused to commit to Zach Wilson as a starter when fully healthy. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out this isn't about health. This is about playing the better quarterback, who happens to be a 5th-round draft pick from years ago, as opposed to this guy, your hand-picked bonus baby. Look, I get it. Jets are going to ride Mike White until the wheels fall off, until he turns back into a pumpkin. Zach Wilson has been dreadful. Mike White has been great. Heck, look at how Josh Johnson played against Indy when White got hurt last week. You could easily make the argument, and I will, that the number 2 pick in the draft has been the 3rd best quarterback on the lowly Jets this year, which takes us back to the pick, takes us back to my original take. I'm on record on Time to Shine. I would have traded down. I would have stockpiled picks. The Jets aren't close to being a good team. And guys like Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, the offensive tackles, they would have been great for the Jets, and we said it. And the Jets could have received a haul if they put that pick up for grabs, up for a trade. Think about what the 49ers gave up for Kyle Shanahan to get up to number 3. Think about what Kyle would have given up to get up to number 2. And Joe Douglas picked Wilson over Justin Fields, over Trey Lance, over Mr. Mac Jones. And Fields has obviously shown much more. And 1 year ago at this time, 365 days ago, many thought Fields was the 2nd best quarterback in the draft. And I love Justin Fields. And my love for Mac Jones is well documented, and he's been terrific. Trey Lance is a project, but I loved him in the draft process, and he has immense upside. Look, I had executives tell me that Wilson would be amazing. I had others tell me that Wilson would be a flat-out bust. And I said both on Time to Shine before the draft. Now, the pick was polarizing, but the Jets were so strong in their convictions. I'm not going to judge Wilson's career in the first half of his rookie campaign, but we did first guess other options. And the eyes tell you what the other first-round quarterbacks and other top players in the draft have done. And the eyes tell you what the other Jets quarterbacks have done. Robert Saleh won't commit to the number 2 pick in the draft getting his job back. This is a rather huge story on so many levels, starting simply with this. Robert Saleh is right, and the potential is there that the Jets were very, very wrong. I love Coach K, and I am sad that this is the final year for the greatest of all time on the sidelines, coaching Duke, but I am thrilled he gets a farewell tour because he's the best and he deserves it. And Duke has a very realistic chance to make this a sensational final season. The Blue Devils got the party started brilliantly last night with a big win over Kentucky at Madison Square Garden. And as you heard, I love post-game how Coach K had a great appreciation, as he always does, for the Garden, for the fans, the heavy Duke crowd in New York City. And I love that he's rightly going to stop and smell the roses while destroying the opposition. opposition this year. The freshmen were incredible last night, and this is what we're going to see all year from Trevor Keels and Paolo Banchero. They're going to do it all season long. And I told you yesterday I had Duke in my Final Four, and look, it's one game, but I feel even better now. These kids are special, and Coach K is going to maximize them. The Coach K accolades are absolutely off the charts. He's the greatest ever. We're talking about into 5 decades of pure genius and domination, changing with the times and with the athlete changing. From 4-year players to one-and-dones, conference expansion, NCAA tournament expansion, omnipresent media, social media, rule changes, and Coach K always was on top and always dominant and put his team in position to win the entire thing every single year. It's beyond difficult, and no one, including John Wooden, has ever done it quite like Coach K. Celebrates, appreciates, go out and dominates. Duke basketball under Coach K, absolutely incredible. Sandy Alderson goes where the sun don't shine after those comments about New York's GM search. And trust me, Sandy, it's not that candidates are afraid of New York or don't want to live in New York or New York City or a suburb of New York City. Those comments were so tone deaf and so wrong on so many levels. Trust me, Sandy, it's not about living in New York or being under the spotlight or the glare. It's you. It's the Mets. It's Mets history. And the fact that you're still here with the Mets organization is a huge problem. The New York Mets have been a laughingstock of baseball for a very long time. And look, so much of that was under the prior ownership, and the Wilpons were awful and cheap and absurd. And Steve Cohen comes in, and he's going to spend, but it would be nice if he got off Twitter. And by the way, just take a look at this list. This is an embarrassment of everyone who's turned down the Mets general manager job. David Stearns, who works for the Brewers and is so well respected, he grew up in New York City. He went to Columbia Grammar. I mean, come on. Don't try to sell that kind of garbage. Gene Afterman works for the Yankees. So she did not turn down that job or the interview because of New York City. She literally works for the Yankees. Listen, Theo Epstein would have been great. Obviously, he doesn't want to be anywhere near you. Billy Beane would have been a home run. That was my number one choice for the Mets. He's not taking that job. He's working for the A's. The penny pinching, take my manager, take my players, A's. So I don't think this is about New York City, and New York City is better than ever. We're broadcasting from New York City. So, Sandy, I've got a lot of problems with you, and this is about the Mets and about the history and the negativity and how clueless the Mets have been forever. Don't lump New York or New York City into that. You go where the sun don't shine. We have a whiteboard. We're going to use it. The New York Yankees reportedly in conversations, as they should be, with the top-tier shortstops, Carlos Correa and Corey Seager. So, the Yankees signing Correa would be spicy. Absolutely, positively spicy. It's like I've always said, Carlos Correa is a mensch, and he's an upstanding citizen, and he's the kind of guy who would never cheat in a baseball game. Obviously, I would only say that if he signed with my New York Yankees. Look, Carlos Correa, you're going to have to deal with it. If he signs with the Yankees, I'm going to have to deal with it. I would rather have Corey Seager, but look, let's not pretend here. Carlos Correa, who's going to leave Houston, he's going to leave Houston and sign for big money somewhere, whether it's the Yankees or, maybe he goes to Detroit where he's reunited with A.J. Hinch, his former manager in Houston. Carlos Correa never needed undefeated to cheat. He's an unbelievable ball player. I think Seager's more likely for the Yankees, but obviously, you know, Carlos Correa, who never showed any remorse for the Astros' detailed, digital, elaborate cheating scandal, it would certainly be one where he would have to have a conciliatory press conference. But once he had the first couple of home runs at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees fans would be chanting his name. But make no mistake, spicy. Fresh round of the college football playoff rankings released last night. So the college football playoff rankings are, I got the perfect word for this one, they're weird. They're strange. They're odd. I don't get them. Seriously. I mean, what's the method to the madness here? I mean, Oklahoma is 9-0 and they're 8th? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. My take on Cincy's well documented. Cincinnati should clearly, undefeated, be in the top 4 in the college football playoffs. You know, Michigan ahead of Michigan State? And let me just say for the record, and this is really Michigan State, that's why I say weird, because we've seen Michigan and Michigan State play, and Michigan State won the game. Now, the Big Ten has admitted that Michigan, and I watched that entire game, they were robbed on some calls by the officials, and, you know, certainly a touchdown off the board at the end of the first half, plus other penalties late. I mean, Michigan got screwed in that game, okay? Without question. The officiating was atrocious, but, you know, the result was the result. So head-to-head doesn't matter, and obviously Michigan State had a terrible loss over the weekend. But head-to-head should trump that. You know, you can't talk to me about schedule for Oregon when they lost against Stanford and Oregon beat Ohio State, since he should be ahead of both those teams. Weird. There's no logic in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.